Welcome to Truth and Company Boxing Podcast. We're doing another segment of 20 random questions, and today's guest is former professional boxer Travis Kauffman. How you doing today, Travis?
Holding on both hands.
So, how long has it been now since you retired?
Almost 3 years.
And how's it going?
I'm getting fat and old. I
Okay.
feel like I aged quicker since I retired.
Oh, geez. All right, so you ready for these random 20 questions?
Yes, sir. I'm ready.
Okay, so question number one: what boxers inspired you in your career?
Um, Growing up, um, I was there was a guy from Reading, Pennsylvania, who was a world champion. He beat Michael Nunn for the title. His name was Steve Lightning Little. He was like an uncle to me, and him and my dad were good friends. They grew up together, and I seen how his persona was. He loved everybody. Like when I was a kid, he would buy me sneakers. He would buy other kids sneakers. And what's crazy is he didn't have money. Like he was a world champ for like one or two fights. But you think, oh, he had money if he was a world champ. He was a Don King, and I think his biggest payday was like maybe 100K, and he had 6 kids. So money goes quick. Like 100K back in 1990, 92, whatever it was. Um, it's probably like today maybe 300,000. My biggest payday was Little Ortiz, and I made a little bit more than that 300, and that money was gone immediately. Like money doesn't, especially me. I'm a single father, so money just goes. but
Okay.
Steve Little was probably the only. I loved watching James Toney. James Toney was one of my favorite. Of course, Muhammad Ali. It wasn't even Muhammad Ali's skill. His reflexes were impeccable, but he made a lot of mistakes as a fighter. You hear people always talk about, oh, who would win between Ali and today Lennox Lewis. I believe Lennox Lewis. I think Ali was phenomenal, phenomenal. I loved Ali just because of what he stood for. He was willing to lose everything for what he believed, and
Okay.
that's a lot of honor. You have to honor somebody in that. And I don't know if I, I respect him because I don't think I could go to war either. Um, but and more so back then, there's a lot of segregation. And he grew up in a rougher time than I did, and you know, it's I loved to out of all the fighters in the world, I loved him just because of what he stood up for. And of course, he was way before my time. I didn't ever get to see him really. I think I was 3 years old his last fight, maybe 88 was his last fight, or 86. I forget what he was. Against what's the heavyweight's name? I can't think of it. It's on the tip of my tongue. Brain fart. But those three guys.
Okay.
But Steve Little to me was the best, not skill wise, but he inspired me the most because of being from our hometown. He was truly like an uncle to me. He loved everybody. And then he died at 34 years old of colon cancer, unfortunately.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. Question two: what advice do you give kids that want to become boxers?
Um. Well, you can learn from my mistakes. I had all the talent in the world. I lived my life depending on my talent. I didn't. The reason why I was never. I believe I had the ability to be the heavyweight champion, but I didn't live it. You want to? I tell my son. I have a 14-year-old son who's actually going to have his first fight, July 27th. He's a big boy, 6'3", 225 pounds, and he's only 14. Um, but I tell him, and I'll tell anyone, like, if you're gonna do it, you gotta give it your all. One thing my trainer, who was Nazim Richardson, would say to me all the time, he's like, Travis, you're a boxer. You gotta be a boxer 365 days a year. I'm a Muslim, not me, but Nazim. He was like, I'm a Muslim, so I'm a Muslim 365 days a year. He's like, same thing with boxing. You gotta do it, live it, and people would tell me my whole life, Travis, you just dedicated 100% 3 years of your life, you'd be a multi-millionaire. I'll do it one day. And I was always one of those guys. I was tough. I had skill, and I was always one of those guys that would just, when it's time to fight, it's time to get ready for a fight, let's go to camp. You know. So just live it. If you truly love the sport, um, and not even love it. If this is just something that you only know, like for instance with me, like I didn't truly love boxing. Boxing wasn't my passion growing up. It wasn't what I wanted to do. It was kind of like not forced on me, but it was like pushed on me, and I wanted to take a different path. And I was like, "No, you gotta do this. Like you're good." And I was like, "All right, just to please other people." I did it, and I don't regret it. But I would tell anybody if this is truly something you want to do, you have to live it 365 days a year.
Okay.
Otherwise, forget it because this is the hurt business, and you can seriously get hurt.
All right. Question 3. What what was your lowest point in your boxing career, and what was your highest point in your boxing career?
That depends. I mean, that's lowest point as far as what mentally, or in shape wise, or what? I mean, because that
Just
could be
how whatever you considered your lowest point when you were in your career.
my lowest point. Honestly, was my last fight with Otto Wallin. When I fought him on Showtime, I was uh, I was done with addictions. Um, First time ever. After the Luis Ortiz fight, I had to get surgery on my shoulder. I fought a lot of people don't know. Like I fought Luis Ortiz with a torn labrum, and I fought him anyway because I was like, I have skills. He's not gonna fucking demolish me like everybody thought. Excuse my language. He's not gonna demolish me like everybody thought. And I wanted to go out there and prove a point. I only had one arm because 3 weeks before the fight, I tore my labrum, and Nazim was like, "Come on, soldier, you got to back up." God rest Nazim, so he passed away, getting ready for my last fight. But he's like, "Oh, you got to pull out this fight. You could die." I said, "Nazim, I could die with two hands in this ring." I said, I know what I'm capable of doing, and I got a family to feed." Um, so my lowest point, though, mentally, physically, all of it was Atawalim because when I had surgery for the Luis Ortiz fight, I got addicted to Percocets. Doctors, here's Percocets, here's Percocets. Now I was able to get off of them, but I was still taking them for that fight to get ready for that fight. I remember sparring, and my shoulder hurt. And I was like, I can't spar. My dad's like, Travis, you got to spar because Nazim wasn't with us at all for that camp because we already knew he was on the process of dying. And I would take a Percocet and go spar. And I was kind of like beating this. So for people who don't know, Percocet is pretty much heroin in a pill. If you do it 3 days in a row, you're physically addicted. It's like you need it. And so I was like, I know before I went through this system with myself after the Ortiz fight, I blew all my money. Went through this whole thing where if I did it 3 days, I'm shaking, withdrawing from it, and so I kept doing it, and I would stop and I go through withdrawals. I was mentally tough enough to go through withdrawals. I probably went through 20 withdrawals on my own, and like I said, get ready for that fight with Alto Wally. I already knew mentally I wasn't right, because I've never dealt with addictions. I mean, I've dipped and dabbed and partied and had some fun times in my life, but I've never dealt with addictions. I knew for that fight I was an addict, but I knew I was trying to beat the system in a sense. So which is why I don't know if you remember that fight. Before that fight, I would announce if I lose to this guy, I'm retiring. I was already in the mindset I'm going to retire because I knew I wasn't
Okay.
there. I've never, and out of 37 fights, there's only one fight that I've ever partied for. Not well, where I've ever done any street drug or illicit any drug. I wouldn't even take Tylenol getting ready for fights. Ibuprofen I would take once in a while, but I I knew I wasn't right. Not only that, my trainer, my mentor, Nazim Richardson, died on me getting ready for that fight. So it was very tough. It was tough mentally. It was tough physically. And then like the fact of dealing with addictions, and I know I'm not the Travis I'm supposed to be. I know I'm not, and so that was honestly the toughest.
Okay. So
Uh,
what was your high point of your career then?
my high point, I would either for me, even though I lost the fight, I would say Luis Ortiz. I fought on one hand, and he was King Kong. Everybody was scared to fight. Not everybody, besides Wilder. A lot of people were scared to fight him because he was a dangerous fighter at that time. He was
Okay.
skilled. He was very slick. Um, but for me, on a mental aspect, um, I felt great. Like I lost the. Oh, that either that or Chris Arroyo, one of those two. Even though I beat Chris Arroyo, but they robbed me. Um, it was one of those two because a lot of people, unless you're a true diehard boxing fan, you didn't really hear of Travis Kauffman until I fought Chris Ariola. And when I fought Chris Ariola, it was I proved the point. All the fans were booing when they named him when they named him the winner. When I was walking out to the ring before the fight, they were booing me. So to know that I made that it was in Texas, in a huge Mexican town. They were there to support Chris Ariola, who's a personal friend of mine. I love Chris, and we were trying to kill each other, and I won that fight. Not being biased because it was me in the ring, but I watched this fight over and over and over again. So that got me to that next level. So that's a great point. But for me, on a mental aspect, was Luis Ortiz because he's King Kong. He was, he was one of the skill wise, the best fighter I fought. Skill wise,
Okay. All right.
Phenomenal. I mean, so for me, it was like I proved the point with just one arm. Even though I got stopped the last 15 seconds, which is my stupidity because I got hit with a hook. I was dazed a little bit, but I doing a dumb move. I was a little tired. I laid on the ropes, thinking, all right, he ain't gonna keep flirting, and he flirted into the ref stop. Now I didn't get knocked out like cold. I got dropped 3 times in the fight: the sixth round, the 8th round, and the 10th round. And
Okay.
for me, it was more of a mental booster in that one. And I felt good. And unfortunately, right after that fight, not right after, because I fought him December of 2018. It was on the undercard of Wilder and Fury, the first one. And I had to get surgery after that fight a couple months later on my shoulder. Even though I knew my labrum was torn, it felt good because I had a shot with cortisone, so it felt normal. So I forgot all about it. So mentally, I just felt good. I felt like I proved the point. Yeah,
Okay.
I lost. I got stopped, but I proved the point. This guy, everybody, I unfortunately, I tell people this too. Don't stay off the internet. Do not read fan stuff because that can mess with you. But I used to read people all the time. Luis Ortiz fighting another bum. He's gonna get knocked out in 3 rounds. And for me, it was like I'm gonna prove a point. I'm gonna show you I ain't no bum because I have a lot of skill. I didn't elevate to that superstardom level because of the fact that I didn't live the right lifestyle.
Okay. Question 4: Who is the one fighter that you never got to fight?
Someone that I wanted to fight that never got to fight.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so many. Um, I wanted to fight Deontay Wilder. More so money reasons.
Okay.
Tyson Fury, we were actually supposed to fight. Not that we were supposed to fight. It was mentioned about us fighting. Um, I when Tyson Fury went through that depression, the hiatus with his cocaine addictions, I understood in a sense. Like, not I didn't understand the aspect because I didn't deal with addictions, but I partied and I've been dealing with depression since I was 10 years old. I've had suicidal thoughts on and off my whole life, and so I understood where he was coming from. And I reached out, and when his first fight back, he was thinking about signing with Eddie Hearn. So Eddie Hearn gave him a 4-fight deal, like, hey, you fight with me. Your first fight would be Travis Kauffman. Your next fight would be such and such, and you can pull it up if you want. Um, Tyson Fury said, "No, that's too. Travis is too dangerous to fight from our first fight back." So
Okay. So
that's my.
Fury and Wilder then basically.
Those two I really wanted to fight just because of the name. They're big guys.
Okay.
I've always loved fighting bigger guys.
All right. Question 5: If you could go on any reality TV show, which one would it be?
um. Oh man, you're killing me. Bad girls clubs. Go be with all those bad girls.
Is that a reality TV show?
Yeah, it is. It's called
Okay.
A bunch of wild, crazy girls. I don't know. Like I watch. I don't see. All I really watch is reality. I only really watch 2 TV shows. I watch Impractical Jokers all day, or 48 Hours. So I
Okay.
don't really watch much reality TV. So I mean, I don't know. Either that or Jersey Shore. I used to like Jersey Shore because they get paid to party, have a good time.
Okay. All right. Question 6: What is the craziest or the funniest story that ever happened between you and a boxing fan?
Whoa. Oh man. So, when you're in the limelight and you have some fame, especially people who are diehard boxing fans. There's this guy, I don't want to say his last name. Some guy named Tony. I'm not gonna say his last name out of respect for him, even though he's a weirdo. This guy would message me for years, 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 years. hey, can you spar me? Use my head as a punching bag. I'll pay you this and this and that with nonstop. And this is before I even fought Areola. So I wasn't like no big name. I wasn't fighting on TV. This is even before I fought Tony Grano my first loss. This is like 2007, 2008. Now I was number one in the country as an amateur, but I didn't have the name as a pro yet. Like, so there's this guy that was just constantly on social media messaging me. So one day I was like, all right, come down. I want $500. I'll use your head as a punching bag. We're gonna ring, but you gotta sign a waiver. So he came down, and I was like, "Yo, something's wrong with this guy. I don't know if he's trying to commit suicide, but want me to do it." So I was kind of scared. So I kind of took it easy, and the guy started messaging me again. So something in my head started thinking like, I think this guy literally like gets beat up and then gets off on it afterwards. So I kind of played a joke with him. I was like, that's how I asked him. I said, Tony, look, I don't judge nobody whether you're gay, straight, transsexual. Well, that's your choice. I'm not the one to judge. God, you gotta answer to God when that time comes. But I would say to Tony, I said, Tony, are you gay? No, I'm married, I got kids. Oh, all right. So one time when he kept messaging me, I said, Tony, you gotta leave me alone, man. Like you're bothering me. Oh, come on, I just really need this. So I was like, Tony, look, how about this? I jokingly said, hey, look, I'm just to get it out of him. I said, I asked if you were gay because I'm gay. Now I had a wife, I had my three boys and their mother. I was with her at the time, and I said, just tell me because I'm gay. Like I don't judge nobody. And he's like, yeah, I am. You're not offended by? Are you still beat me up, right? I was like, oh man, I can't do this no more. And I just blocked him. And
Oh wow.
he created another account. I blocked him again, and I think he got the idea that he ain't gonna get beat
Okay.
up.
Wow.
Yeah,
All
oh,
right. Number
I've
seven.
had messages already.
Huh?
I've had some crazy messages over the years. Men asking me to send them my sweaty underwear from a fight. Women asking me to send. I'm not getting into it.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep it PG.
All right. No. This is unrestricted, unfiltered, unedited, man. Go.
Well, no, I gotta keep it PG because there's a 14-year-old here.
Okay. All right. All right. So we got question 7. If you could have been a professional in any other sport, what would it have been?
Any other sport? I
Yeah.
would say. That's a tough one. I mean, the first one that comes to mind is Michael Jordan. He's great. He was great. He is
No.
phenomenal.
If you could have been in any other
Oh,
professional
I thought
sport.
you said if I could have met anyone.
No.
So if I,
If you could have been a professional in any other sport.
I don't know because I don't like sports. I don't watch football. I don't watch basketball. I don't watch baseball. I don't watch hockey. I don't watch nothing except boxing is the only
Okay.
thing I watch. So I don't know. But
So then none.
I mean, if you, I mean, if there's something else I could have done professionally, I'd probably be a singer. I can't sing, but I wish I could.
Okay. All right. Question 8. Would you swim with the sharks?
Depends. Are they baby sharks?
No, I mean, like, you know how you go down in those cages in the ocean? They put you down in one of those cages and they let you swim with the sharks?
I don't know, man. I'm not. Listen, I'm not one of those guys that like the wild stuff and lions and you know us white folks. There's a lot of white crazy people who like playing with lions. You see Siegfried and Roy. They play with lions, and you see what happened to this Roy. So no, I like to stay on land. I'm not
Okay.
an ocean person.
All right. Number 9. What's one sport that you cannot stand? A lot of them,
No,
apparently.
I can watch football every now and then. But one sport I can't stand. Um, I like live. I like watching it is hockey, but I can never watch hockey on TV ever. Um,
Oh, okay.
Now I guess you consider race car driving a sport too, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't watch that at all. Like that to me, I
Okay.
wouldn't go. Yeah, so that's probably the worst. So if that's considered a sport, yeah, that's probably the worst.
Okay. Question 10. Are you artistic in any way with your hands besides boxing, as far as like building things, painting, drawing, photography, anything like that?
Chris, my no, I don't know how to look. Not this house. My other house I had when I was boxing. I couldn't even hang up pictures. I didn't know you had to look for stubs on the wall. Like, I'm not a handyman at all. I don't know nothing. You know,
Okay.
all that I've ever done was box. Like like now trying to get used to this normality. It's like I have to do some stuff, but I still had that. You know, for years I out here, especially in Reading, where I'm from, I kind of lived like a king. Like whatever woman I was with took care of everything in the house, or I had clean ladies. Like I still have a clean lady that comes once a month. I can't afford them no more like I used to, because I hate cleaning. I never had to do nothing. Even though I was a single father for how long was it? 9 years or something. I had custody of my kids. I I I don't. I've always lived. I got money. I'll just pay somebody to do this. So now I don't have money no more. So I no longer have money. So now I have to kind of do stuff like, but I'm not
Okay.
handy at all. So no, I'm not
All
artistic
right. All
at
right.
all.
Question 11. If you could be any animal for one day, what would it be?
Mm-hmm. Uh, Probably. Damn, that's a tough one. I'd probably say. So I was gonna say a wolf because we walk the day and run the night, but no. Probably a bird because I just want to fly. I want to fly.
Okay.
I want to see the sky. I want to be up in the sky looking at down. Excuse me.
Okay. 12. Question 12. So, are you a thrill seeker, adrenaline junkie? You like to be risky?
Oh, with the wrong things I've been risky in my life. Yes.
Okay. All right. Question 13. What movie or TV series could you watch over and over?
And Practical Jokers all day long.
Okay.
Either that or 48 hours.
All
That's all
right.
I see on TV.
Question 14. What's the first thing you used to eat after weigh-ins?
Well, early in my career, I would always get I used to love eating chicken parmesan, and it's crazy. People used to say, "You're a heavyweight, you don't have to make weight." I always tried to make weight. I had to go. All right, I'm gonna be this for this fight, and I made sure I got to that point, no matter what. Except there's like 2 fights I couldn't get to that, but I tried to make weight. Like as a heavyweight, I would still dry out. I would dry out like the night before I wouldn't eat, drink nothing. I'd take a little bit of water, but spit. My dad was okay with it because my dad likes me being light. Because when I'm lighter, I'm faster. So they try like people like Travis, why you ain't eating? And I'm like, because I just drying out. But once I got to start working with Nazim Richardson, I started to eat a little more. But my after meal thing would always be some type of carbohydrates. And that's why I used to love chicken parm. Um, but yeah, load up on. It depends on the time of day of the weigh-ins too. Like in Pennsylvania, sometimes we would do them early, sometimes late. So like if it's morning time, I'm definitely loading up with pancakes. And the thing in Pennsylvania, I don't know if they still do it, but I know they did before. The weigh-ins were the same day of the fight, always.
Okay. All right. Question 15. Now, you just mentioned you'd want to be a bird. Well, funny, the question actually is, if you were a bird, what bird would you be?
An eagle,
Okay.
either eagle or vulture.
All right. Question 16. If you could go on a date with any celebrity, who would it be?
Eva Mendes, if you're hearing this, baby, I love you.
Question 17. What's the last book you read?
I only read one book my whole life, and I read it 4 times. It was written by Napoleon Hill, who was a famous author back in like the 1930s. The book was called Outwitting the Devil. Um, it pretty much helped change my life and look at life in a different perspective. It's not a religious book at all. People say Outwitting the Devil. It just talks about like how eh, whether you believe in God or you don't, you have to believe in positive and negative. That's just facts. Like energy, there's good energy, there's bad energy. So let's not use the word devil. But in the book, he has a conversation with the devil. You don't want to say the devil, let's say bad energy. So he has a conversation with bad energy, and it shows how the devil controls 98% of the population, and through fear, through other things, and it makes so much sense. So Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. So Napoleon Hill, he wrote this book in like 1934. It didn't get published till 2011, and the reason why is because he would have lost his career back then. He would have got hung because he's talking about reading a book, having a conversation with the devil. So his family finally
Okay.
published it in 2011. So it was an amazing book. I read it 3, 4 times, and the only book I read.
Okay. Question 18. Who is your favorite athlete?
Floyd.
Floyd Mayweather?
Yep, and not because of his skill. I mean, Floyd is special, but because no matter what, even today he's retired. He can make excuses to go get drunk. He still doesn't. He can make excuses to go roll up a blunt and get high. He doesn't.
Okay. So, question 19. What's something you are afraid of?
God.
Well, that's an honest answer.
That's the only thing I'm afraid. I'm not afraid of nothing. I've had guns put in my head. I've done a lot of bad things in my life and wasn't afraid to die from doing them. I'm not afraid of nothing. I'm afraid of God. Like, cause whether let's not say God to people who don't believe in God. And that's okay, because I don't judge nobody. Like whatever, I
A
don't give a
higher
fuck.
power.
A higher power. And if you don't, if you believe we're just from some ball of energy, well, that ball of energy is your higher power, right?
Okay.
If you worship the sun, I don't give a fuck. If it makes you a better person, worship that fucking sun. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? I'm not one of those guys who are judgmental. Oh, you gotta believe in God. Nah, I don't give a fuck. Like you can believe in a book. If that book makes you a better person, yeah, keep believing in that goddamn book. But me, I believe in a higher power, and whether that power is God, whether that power is mom, whoever the power is, I'm afraid of that power because that power, that higher power gave me life. Whether it was my mom and dad, he one day, well, the first person got life from someone. You want to say fucking monkeys? Okay, well, those monkeys got life from someone. Um, so, so just like we were given life, we could be our life could be taken. I'm not afraid to die. The only thing I'm afraid of is that when I die, what happens with my kids?
Okay. All right. Question 20. This is your last question, Travis. If you could box in a celebrity boxing match against any actor or athlete, who would you choose to fight?
Are they paying? I was gonna say Floyd if they're paying Floyd. Um, I don't know because anybody. I mean, listen, if my dad wanted to fight, glove up, let's fight. I don't care. I love. That's one thing I've always loved. I never truly had a passion for boxing, but I love to fight always. Like there was a time where the reason why I started fighting was when I was 14 years old. I got jumped by a group of 10 kids, and let's fight. I don't care, all of you, let's fight. And I just always been that mentality. Like people had guns, let's fight. You either shoot me or shut the fuck up. But let's fight. I love to fight. Now I'm older now. I first street fight I got in was about in years. First street fight I got in was 2 years. Not first street fight I got in. The last street fight I got in was about 2 years ago, and it's with another boxer. It's actually my daughter's baby's father. I have a 23-year-old daughter, 22-year-old daughter, and he boxed. I was training him at one point, but he puts his hands on my daughter and threatened my third. Well, at the time it was 13. Threatened my 13-year-old son, and I had enough. Now I'm not gonna sit there and say I beat him because I didn't. I was out of shape, but it was even. I like his face. He's 6'9". His face is all swollen and beat up. And I posted this video online that he beat me up. Like it looks like the ending where I'm. I don't live a right lifestyle no more. Unfortunately I started smoking and my lungs are done. But he posted this video. Actually, he beat me up, but he went and pressed charges. You beat me up, but you press charges. Come on.
So you can't think of an actor or celebrity or anybody that you'd like to just go in the ring and box?
No, I mean anybody. Whoever wants to fight, let's fight.
Okay.
I
Well,
love.
listen.
Look, my 14-year-old son wanted to fight me. Never sparred him before. He learned his lesson. He still want to fight me? He said, yeah. All right, well, glove up. So yeah,
Well,
I'm all
listen.
for. I love
Listen,
fighting.
I appreciate you being honest with all your answers and coming on, man, and doing the 20 questions. You want to say anything to your fans before we end the show?
Hey, John, I thank you for having me. One thing about me, I've always been this way. I'm very honest. I'm sometimes too vulnerable. Sometimes I'm too honest. And my dad used to tell me, "Shut the fuck up, Trav. Stop talking. You talk too much." Um, but I don't care. This is who I am. I'm an honest person. I'm very blunt. I'll sugarcoat nothing. And I am who I am. This is my story to tell, nobody else's. Uh, but I want to thank all the fans who supported me over the years. I'm sure people ask me all the time, when are you gonna fight again? Never. Al Heyman offered me $300,000 10 months. Not 300 quite, but close to 300,000 10 months ago. I turn it down because I'm not willing to die for something I don't love no more.
Okay, that's an honest answer, man.
Yeah, so I appreciate all the support over the years, and I'm on social media if you want to follow me. If you don't follow me yet, my Facebook is my actual name, Travis Kauffman. My Instagram is mytime_champ. What else do I have, Christian? Twitter, same thing, mytime_champ. I'm never on Twitter. I'm on Instagram or Facebook pretty much.
Okay. Well, listen, man, once again, like I said, thank you for coming on and taking this time, man, and just being honest with your answers. I appreciate it. And best of luck to you in retirement, man.
I appreciate you, buddy.
All right. And the truth has spoken.